I noticed you guys wanted to dive into the individual matchup last night that we saw at Dodger Stadium between Noah Syndergaard and Mookie Betts.
So first off, real quick, Case, before we get into it, our thoughts are with the umpire. Lauren, as I was drifting off to sleep, Mike Trout, is it Nate Tomlinson?
Yep.
Got hit with the shard of Mike Trout's bat.
And you could tell he went down right away. Mike Trout was
thinking about him.
Upset. Yeah.
Okay, so Case, when I got to the big leagues in 1998, and I've been at it a game a long time now, 7, 8 years, one of the greatest parts of my day was showing up to the yard at 2 o'clock. My locker was next to Chipper, and he'd be like, come on, let's go formulate. I'm going to teach you how to watch video and formulate a game plan. Wow. And I carried it through my entire career, 14 years playing. This is how I went about it. So when I watch a game, I like to give people at home, kind of take them behind the scenes of what I'm looking for, okay? So Noah Syndergaard, the matchup with Mookie Betts last night, there's some history there, not a ton of it, but how do you go about preparing for a guy that you haven't seen in 3-4 years and has completely changed his MO? What Chipper used to always do, he'd go back and watch your last 3 starts, then he'd go back and watch what you're going to throw in big spots, what's going to be your off-speed put-away pitch, and then he tried to go back and watch guys recently that he felt that pitcher was going to attack him, like a Lance Burke, comps to Chipper. Right. And he would formulate a game plan, and he wasn't always on the heater.
Right.
But I asked you last night when we were talking, you said you didn't do it. You focused more on the relievers, which is crazy.
I would go to the relievers. I just felt like,
which no one was doing back then.
I would go to the left, because I knew in the 7th, 8th inning there was a lefty in that bullpen that was coming to get me. And so I would go watch video, especially to see, like, okay, what are they starting out lefties on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then what's their put-away pitch? And usually a lot of times when you get a good lefty at the pen, he had that good slider. So when is he throwing it? Is he throwing it early? Can I ambush the heater early? And I used to just like to see the release point. I didn't see, do they have any deception? Because a lot of times in the pen, you know, some of these guys you don't know as well. So I would like to get up on it and make sure that I knew, I've already seen this guy a few times before he gets in the 7th to face me. So I was more of I did look at film, but more for the relievers.
Which is crazy, which I think more guys now are probably focused on the relievers, and they're getting flooded with information. But I wanted to take you to like an archaic way of kind of looking at it. So I'm saying to myself, I'm Mookie Betts driving to Dodger Stadium last night. Let's get into it. I wanted to focus on what he could possibly be. What would be his recall? So Noah Syndergaard has completely changed his MO. We'll bring up boards here in a second. Stay with me, S-Rod. We're not going there yet. And Mookie Betts is struggling right now, although he had his 17th big one last night. So I wanted to take you back to 2015, okay? First time these guys ever met. And this is when Syndergaard was, here's my heater. I don't think you can hit it, right? 1-2 count. We're coming in with a changeup. And now where's he going? Boom, punch ticket. So pause this real quick. And I'm saying to myself, does Mookie Betts go back? Mikey Young from the Texas Rangers said, don't ever go back more than 3 years. Because everybody's changing, right? We're always tinkering. If you're going to go back and check out something 5 years ago, you're not getting
You could be in trouble.
And your body's not moving the same. Okay, fast forward to 2018. How's he going to attack him 3 years later? And this is when Mookie, he's 11-3 with a 3.44. Look at this. Pause that real quick.
Oh my gosh! Look at those numbers.
Locked in.
That's when that's when we were talking about who's the best player in the game, Mike Trout or Mookie Betts. That's back in those
2018. Days. Does he attack him differently 3 years later with the same stuff? Terrible overhead to start us. And then here we go. It's more of the same, right? We're going four-seamer away. Four-seamer away at 98, trusting his stuff, nasty slider, kind of hangs in the middle of the plate. Mookie wants that back. So I'm saying to myself, okay, that's 18. Fast forward 4 more years. Pause this. Bring up the pitch usage for Syndergaard. Okay, look at it. This is what he did. Four-seamer 31% of the time. Now he uses it 11% of the time. He's completely changed who he is. So you almost have to throw out 15, 18, get out of here. I'm completely different pitcher, 46% sinker, slider pretty much the same. He's kind of ditched this curveball and gone more to a changeup, and the fastball velocity is down 4 miles an hour. So like Chipper used to do, he used to tell himself, I got to look at guys that maybe he'd pitch me like.
Yeah, I like that.
Jump in.
I like that too, when you start to break this down, because I think the velocity is a big part of a pitcher like Syndergaard. Because a guy that has good velocity is going to use that curveball more, because if he's throwing the heater up, that curveball that's 12-6, it plays off. It's so nice. When your velocity gets down to 94, now the changeup becomes that curveball, right? The changeup is what plays, because that velocity doesn't scare me. 98, that puts me on my heels a bit. 94 doesn't. But that changeup.
That crazy 4 miles an hour difference.
But that changeup makes that 94 look like 98. So I can see why he's ditched that curveball for the change.
So who could Mookie Betts go back and look at? Old teammate Xander Bogaerts is the only guy I could think of recently that he's faced, right? So he starts him off with a slider, and now he's working the ball in. He's throwing that 94-mile-an-hour sinker inside. He hits 96 right there. So he's completely changed who he is. Occasionally mixing in the four-seamer, but it's slider down and away, sinker up under your hands, sinker up under your hands. So all the at-bats previous to this gotta go down the tubes, okay? But what does Mookie Betts not do well? So pause this recently, which is crazy. Rob, bring me up to Mookie Betts, not the heat map. I want the other board of showing him. Check this out. 2015, 2019 with Boston, I was talking to Brian McCann about this last night. I said, how'd you pitch Mookie Betts? He goes, you could not go in. Don't even think you got him set up to go in. He goes, I think I have him set up for heater in. Shoot me over the monster. So it was just, can you hit that slider down and away? Because look at this, 602 slug. Look at him with the Dodgers. Wow. Not covering in. So I'm saying to myself, well, Syndergaard's going to just throw sinkers in all day.
Right. And
he's going to get calls. But then run this. He pitched him like he did in 2015. This is the cat and mouse. So first AB gives him a curveball. Oh, this is the fourth inning. Gives him a breaking ball, and now he's going inside, right?
Nope.
Slider down and away, I'm going inside. So if he focused on how he attacked Xander Bogaerts, it's just the beauty of trying to formulate a game plan, and then he gets a call right there. Mookie knew that was off, and he probably would have got the nasty sinker again or another hard slider. But he attacked him like Xander Bogaerts. And there's his fastball heat map versus right-handed hitters. Back when he had the big heater, 98, he could live middle of the plate, little out over, right? 2022, everything is in. So you didn't you just were on the heater.
That was me. I like Chipper. Like you said, Chipper was a big guess guy. You guys like to guess.
He stepped out, and he was like 2-1, winds blowing in.
It worked for him, dude, and he was a special talent, too.
Yeah.
This is the one thing I would say about video that I do love. That I think now with the video they have now, it's a little different. Maybe I would be on it a little more, is that when anything I can do to gain confidence and that intense trust in myself. So I think about Chipper looking at that video and go, man, he went into that battle of that 101 knowing that he'd watched hours of film on these guys. That makes you feel confident when you're doing it. It's like you're preparing for a test. Hey, I know what you're going to wipe me out on. I know what you're doing when you get 2 strikes. I know what you're going to start me off on because I've watched film on it. I might go back and look at that.
But then when they pitch you backwards, you step out and you're like, what are you doing?
This is not the test I studied for.
Not what I studied for.
This is not the social studies test.
That's your cheat.
Right?
I was just thinking.